Anyway, Dean, you were sharing with me a story also with how you met your wife. Like you mentioned that you have a neighbor and a friend. Maybe you can share to our viewers. Like,
well, again, cancer has been a part of my life since I was very young. And so after I went through chemotherapy, some of my very first magic shows, I learned a lot of magic before I got into the escapes. And so I used to go back to the Children's Hospital and to the Cancer Foundation and do magic for the other kids that were going through treatment, because I understood what they were going through and I could relate. And so they saw me as an example. It's like, well, hey, I can do it. I can do what he did, right? So maybe there was some motivation for them to succeed and beat their illness like I had. And I met a young friend in the hospital that had cancer, named Philip. And so I started teaching him some magic. He wanted to learn some magic and teaching him magic, and we became good friends.
Yes.
And again, I could understand what he was going through, and had been through the same thing, and our friendship developed, and I got to know his family, and then he wanted to learn escapes.
Okay.
I go, well, I can teach you, but that doesn't mean you can do it, because it's very hard physically, and you hurt yourself lots. And well, I started teaching him, and he could do it. He liked it. And he could break out of handcuffs and things. And so as we started developing, we started going to the local police departments and getting them to lock us up in their handcuffs and jail cells and straitjackets.
You didn't commit a crime to go to the police?
No. We were very good. We were very good kids, And I was still a teen. I was probably about 19 and 20.
I see.
And he was like 13, 14, 15. And so we would go and break out of all these situations and jails. And, the police were always like, wow, and write us up letters, what we escaped from. And it was always really, really cool. In fact, after, he was 15, and unfortunately, the cancer eventually wore him down, and he passed away.
What cancer did he suffer from?
He had Ewing sarcoma, which was a cancer of the bones.
Bone.
And so they operated on his hip and took out some of the bone, but again, it started to spread and went into his lungs and his shoulder, and unfortunately, at that time, there was nothing else they could do. But again, at 15, he had a good life.
Yes.
He accomplished things that most kids at his age never do, right? So he always went out and he fought to the very end.
Yes.
And he was happy and satisfied with his life. Now, obviously, it was very sad for his parents and his family, and so many things in his life that he didn't get to live. And as a friend, I always thought I was helping him and giving him, teaching him magic tricks and doing all these things. But as our friendship developed, he was giving me more. Again, with his friendship and watching his power and his struggle and to defeat this illness.
Yes.
And so after he passed away, he always used to say, always believe in the magic of your dreams. Always believe in the magic of your dreams, because I was still a young performer, and I always had these thoughts that I wanted to be a great magician, that I wanted to be a great escape artist, and I wanted to work on TV and travel around the world, and we talked about these things, and he always encouraged me and said, you can do this. So he always said, believe in the magic of your dreams. So after he passed away, I had this medallion made of St. Christopher to protect the traveler. Yes. And on the back, I put, always believe in the magic of your dreams. So, and with his name, so that he would always be close to me, and the thoughts and that he inspired me on to keep living and to achieve my dreams.
Yes.
And after he passed away, his parents built a magic museum. And it's the only magic museum in Canada now, called Phil's Magical Paradise. Wow. It's a little magic castle out in the Canadian prairies. And magicians from all over the world have donated things to the museum, posters and old magic props and so forth. So I've always stayed in close with his family. Wow. But he had a next-door neighbor that lived between his parents' house and where the museum is today.
Yes.
And there was a young girl that lived there that was his friend. And I'd always been friends with her.
Okay.
Well, after 20-odd years, our friendship grew, and we actually started dating. And then
after 20 years?
Yeah, after, if not longer.
Wow.
And 4 years ago, we actually got married.
Wow.
And we had children together.
Wow.
So I would never have met my wife if I would have not have been friends with my friend that I met in the hospital. If I wouldn't have walked into his hospital room that day and started teaching him magic. If I would have walked into the next room, I probably would have never met my friend. My life would have never been where it is today. I would have never met the amazing woman in my life that became my wife and that gave me my 2 beautiful daughters.
Wow.
So, life is always strange. You never know what's going to happen today and what happens today, where that leads tomorrow.